files, some include that, you know, thumbnails, how perfectly that relates to the search query. Like, that is a strong correlation, but what's even stronger is how much watch time the video has accumulated, which is how Google determines how valuable this video is, and the longer people spend watching this video, the more valuable Google thinks that this video is. So very practically for you, that means it's important to drive as much watch time to that video as possible within the first week of it being published. And that goes back to following all the best practices that Daryl just talked about and others that are linked up below. So go check all that stuff out. You guys got some research to do if this is something that's interesting to you. I would love to hear from you guys about what tips, ideas, advice would you have for Crieza, or for anyone else who might be in a similar situation. Comment and leave those down below. And also, while you're down there, check out Daryl's channel. The link is in the description text. And I'm sure a lot of you guys will find his videos equally as valuable as these, so go check that out. And if this is your first time here, I'd love to have you subscribe. Welcome. Every week we do Q&A just like this to help you guys out on Tuesdays. We take a look at online video news and talk about the implications it has for us as creators, as YouTube is constantly updating and changing. And then on Wednesdays, to give you guys some YouTube tips, ideas, advice, suggestions, and Thursdays we do basically what you just saw right here. And I do all of this because I really believe that a lot of you guys have messages that can really change lives and influence people if those people could just find and hear what you have to say. So thank you for letting me be a part of you guys who are building your audiences and your channels for the purpose of changing lives. Subscribe if this is your first time here, and I will see you guys again next week. Bye. Today we are going to answer a question that a lot of you guys ask is, Tim, what gear are you using? What microphone, what camera, what equipment, editing software? I'm going to give you guys today a lowdown of all that stuff. That's coming up. Hey guys, my name is Tim Schmoyer, and it's Thursday, which means it's time for some YouTube Q&A. Before we get into that real quick, letting you guys know that I have a couple of these shirts left. Just a few, so if you want one, you go to videocreators.com and order one. Put a link in the description text below. But let's get in today's question. What kind of mic are you wearing? Please share, thanks. Adele, you are not the only one who asks this. In fact, I get this kind of frequently. Tim, what camera are you using, equipment, all that kind of stuff. So let me switch to my iPhone, and I will, I want to record from this angle so you can see what I'm looking at here and show you everything I'm using. So to answer your question first, what I'm using actually for a microphone is this thing right here. It's the Sennheiser EW100 G3. And just so you guys know, I will put links to all of these things I'm going to tell you guys about in the description text below, either to Amazon or B&H Photos, so you can go check them out. So this is a little bit more of an expensive microphone. The wireless receiver is up here on top of my camera, and so it just kind of goes from there to there, so it's not going very far distance. But I have found that when it comes to microphones, you kind of get what you pay for. It's like, I've used the cheaper ones, and they introduce static pretty easily. The range on them was like really short. The audio just wasn't that good. So that's the microphone I'm using. As far as the camera is concerned, I am using the Canon 60D. It's a little bit of an older camera, so you guys can probably get it pretty cheap now. But the reason I like it, because when I bought it originally, this flip out screen, like that's what I need. Like that's my monitor. So I don't have to hook up like another television to it. I can actually just like kind of frame myself and position myself just by looking at it. Because I'm also actually far away, I need to set the focus on myself, because usually the background's a little bit more blurrier. And so I actually have this wired remote, and if I push this button halfway, it's the same as holding the shutter button down halfway here on the camera that's set to focus. So this way I can back up a little bit, and then I put myself right in the middle, and then I hold down the button halfway, and it focuses on me. So that way I get myself in focus, and because right now I can't like reach it and do it manually. So that's that. The lens is a Tamron 50 or 17 to 55 millimeter. I'm not really sure where to show that to. Here's the word camera. There we go. But it's a 55 or 17 to 55 millimeter lens, and 2.8 f-stop for aperture. So the lower the f-stop, which is like the bigger the hole gets, the more light that the camera, that the lens will let in, which means like I have pretty dim lighting in here right now, just because I have really cheap lighting, which I'll show you those in a second. You could get like the Canon branded lens equivalent to that for about twice as much, and I found that you can save about half the money. Just go with the Tamron lens, and just for my purposes anyway, I know it's not like super professional, but like for my purposes, it's like it works just fine. I don't know if any of you guys even noticed I'm not using an official camera lens. The other thing that I think is really important is I have this thing, and now this side is for, it's called a gray card. This is set to set proper exposure, so that when I point this at my, before I start recording at the lens, it'll tell me, you know, if I'm overexposed or underexposed by using like a little exposure meter on the camera. And then the other side of it, see, this is exposure side. This side is for setting white balance, and because it's really like, well, basically what that does, if you don't know, is it tells the camera what the color white looks like, and that's important because it'll actually balance all the other colors based on what it knows what white looks like, and then that's how you get like accurate color reproduction in your image. As far as my lighting is concerned, I have this umbrella lamp right here, and then I have this soft box over here, and those are actually just like the cheap, I think these are from ePhoto, but they're basically like the Cowboy Studio brand, and I like, if you don't have anything else, they're fine. I think you could probably get something just as good, like get some can lights on you know, Target or Home Depot or something like that, and just kind of just use the same light bulbs for like all your lights, and then maybe diffuse it with maybe put like some white sheets in front of it or something like that, so you don't get like this harsh shadow like across your face. So you want it to be like soft, at least for this type of video that I'm doing. Anyway, so I mean, those kind of have like diffusers built like right into them. I mean, this one does too, but so you don't need them, but that's what I have. And then I have a couple more behind me that I use for other stuff, but that's all I use for that. And then the other thing, going back to the camera, I forgot to mention, is that I am actually using Magic Lantern firmware, which is free, and I love it. I don't use the stock firmware that comes with the Canon camera, and the reason for that is because Magic Lantern actually is built, it designs to turn these cameras that are normally designed just for still photography and gives them like a lot of extra features that are great for video. So the main one is that it disables automatic gain control, which can introduce a lot of noise into your audio, because it's not like, they don't have like high quality audio like microphone and that thing. And so I use this one, and most of the time people record externally, but I feel comfortable enough recording it directly into